crafters, welcome into Guyscrafttoo. My name is John, and I hope you have had an amazing weekend. It has been busy, crazy, and lots going on here. And so I think we finally have some of our setup arranged the way we want it. So we'll see how today goes and works out. But welcome in. Thanks for being here. And to all the new subscribers that have joined in the last week or so, welcome, welcome. We appreciate each and every one of you. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do so before the end of our live today. So it is hard to believe, guys, we are in the last Sunday in the month of February. So I swear it just feels like I've put Christmas decorations away, that I just finished doing all the unboxings and the Advent boxes and all that craziness for December. And not only are we through the month of January, we're basically through the month of February. And I just have no idea where the month is going. But it has been a busy weekend. We've had lots of good things going on. But before I jump into all of that, let's jump over to the chat and see who is on the chat with us today. I know with QuiltCon going, I'm not sure we're going to have all of our folks, but we'll see. So Jackie's here. Hey, Jackie, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Hey, Brian, thanks for being with us this afternoon. Brian is amazing. He's always here with us, and we appreciate that. I hope folks that went to QuiltCon had a good time. There's Ballonas, Miss Mona from down in Tucson. She actually came up and saw us at the quilt show today, and so that was fun. It's always a good time to see Mona. And she's a big award winner, right? So the Tucson Quilt Guild had their show this weekend. Theirs was Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And she won several ribbons, and they do some beautiful ribbons. They do a custom, almost custom quilt block as the top of their ribbon in that, and it was super, super nice. She says, good afternoon, got to see John Carl and Mama Jan at the quilt show, getting ready to head back to Tucson in a few minutes. And she went to 4 quilt shops today and plus the boutique at the quilt show. So it was just fun to get to see. It's always fun to get to see folks that are on the lives with us, that chat. We become friends. It's just so crazy how we meet each other, but we share something so in common, and it's just always fun to get to be together. Hey, Charlotte, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Pat's here. Oh boy, just got my Discover card was compromised. That is a way to stop buying fabric. I tell you what, I think gone through that. It was interesting. I had like 3 months, I think, last year where I had a card compromised like in February, and then a different card in March and a different card in April. And I was like, okay, guys, this is getting, the problem is it takes like 10 days to get a new card, to get that disputed, to get, it's like, okay, so, I've got friends that go, oh, I don't carry but one credit card. Well, what do you do if you only have one credit card? Because I can tell you when something like this happens, it's not like they hurry and get it to you the next day, but it is what it is. So hopefully, Pat, you will get that worked out. Who else is here? Hey, Katrina, welcome in. Thanks for being with me this afternoon. Stitcher's here. Look at Miss Stitcher. Welcome in. Snowing steadily for several hours in New Jersey. Oh, I feel for you. It's interesting this weekend. The last week here in Phoenix was actually in the 60s, which is cold for us, and actually was even a little bit below normal. Just frustrating, because it was like we had such a warm, beautiful winter. Today it was back up in the 70s, and starting next week, we're going to be back up in the 80s, and by the end of the week, upper 80s. So I am hoping that we're over winter as far as Phoenix goes. I'm also hoping that we're in spring for about 4 or 5 months before we jump into 100 plus weather. But you know what? I'll take it. I don't want to deal with snow. I don't want to see ice again. So I love, love, love watching it on a Hallmark movie. But outside of the Hallmark movie, I hope to never see snow and ice again. All right, what else? Let me click over and see what is going on. All right. Brian says snowing hard here in Maryland for a while now too. Oh no, guys, I'm just sorry, man. Just crazy. Granny says my son was saying it was spitting snow in Indiana earlier this afternoon. I get that. Pat says $900 on Target charges. I don't charge items online, Target. If it would have been a fabric shop, I might not have noticed. Well, maybe for the price, right? Even $900 jumps out. But I'll show you some of the things that John's working on and how much John overspent on a few things too. And Stitcher says winter has been very gray and cloudy, worse in a way. I get that because my daughter's back in Virginia, right? And it has been one of the hardest, nastiest winters that they've had in years. And then I've got folks in other parts of the country go, well, we haven't even had hardly any snow this year, and we normally get 20 inches or whatever. And it's like, it's just so hard to keep up with, right? It's just the weather has just hit so randomly, but so consistently in certain spots this year. It's just been crazy. All right, so what has John worked on this week? So a couple of things. I have gotten the Felicity pattern, and let's see if John can make the camera work. There we go, look at that. So I worked on the Felicity pattern this week by Della Rosa Designs. And guys, just so you all wonder, the only reason I put my sticker here is because, you know, I do giveaways and different things. I know these, when I pull these cards out, that these are mine and these are my patterns that I work off of. That's the only reason I stick my sticker on there. But this is the new Felicity pattern. I had been wanting to get that done. I actually got 2 done. So not only did I get the ghost quilts done, I actually got 2 of the Felicity patterns done. So let me show you what those look like. First one was a very mid-century modern take. And what does Felicity take? Where did I just put it? Felicity takes 9 back quarters, and it finishes out approximately 42 by 54 inches. So it's a nice size quilt. It's not a large quilt, but I had this back quarter bundle that I really, really liked. So I did this one. And I'm really happy with how that turned out and the colors in that. So that is one that I got done. And then when I was trying to find this back quarter bundle to do the pattern, I ran across this back quarter bundle and I was like, oh yeah, I got to go on and do this one too. So I ended up doing a Halloween quilt. I need another Halloween quilt, like I need a hole in my head. But, you know, guys, it is what it is. But I really, really loved this fabric. I'm really excited how this turned out. So, come on, guys. So we'll have to figure out how I'm going to be able to show quilts moving forward, but it is what it is today. But I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So I think both of these turned out nice. This pattern actually goes together pretty quick. It cuts pretty quick. It's all straight stitching, right? So that makes it even easier. Of course, you got to line your junctions up in that. And I'm actually getting better about that. Both of those quilts match up and look pretty good. So I'm excited about that. I did bring a project to work on the live today, so I do want to get that done, but I wanted, before I change threads, I need to get the borders done, and I need to fix those, so I will work on that next. Let's jump into the comments and see who's here. Pat says, rain hard and our 12 inches gone, now snowing again. That's what my daughter said. She was so frustrated. She said our backyard was finally getting to the point where it had rained enough in Virginia. Most of the snow was gone. And then she said, I'll look outside the next day and it's snowing so hard again. It's like, crazy. Balloona says, Miss Mona says, John allowed me to spend $20 at the show boutique today, but he spent more than me. We're not even going there. See, why would you call me out and tattle, right? So part of the Palo Verde Patchers quilt club that I belong to in Sun City West, we had our quilt show, which is a biennial show, so we have it only on even years. It was Saturday and today from 9 to 4. So very exciting. Like I said, super that Mona came up. But part of our show is we typically have about 200 plus quilts. Then we have a boutique that a lot of the quilters make and put things in. I did not put anything in the boutique this year. But in the boutique, we actually have a lot of donated fabrics and different things. So we make up baskets. We sell charm packs, just all kinds of things, plus a lot of things that the quilters have made. If you remember the basket that Miss Mona gave me and brought to the quilt retreat last time, which were amazing, this is the kind of stuff that would have sold so well at the boutique, right? And so I still love mine. It's loaded with a bunch of stuff, and I keep it because Miss Mona made it for me, and it's got gnomes all over it. So you know me and gnomes. So, but that's the kind of stuff that is in the boutique, along with a bunch of other things. Not only quilts, but table runners and all that. So yes, John did really well. I worked as cashier yesterday for a couple of hours. I did a little shopping, ended up buying nothing. Today I had to be cashier again, so I went in and did my 2 hours this morning. But then when my partner came up, I decided we should shop around and look. And I will actually do a video later this week about the quilt show itself and some of the beautiful, beautiful quilts that were there and the judging in that. But I ended up buying 2 baskets full of fabric. One I think had 12 yards, and I think the other had like 18 yards. But the fabric ends up working out about $3, $4 a yard, so you just can't beat it. One was dragon, so obviously he found that. He wanted the dragon because he really likes dragons. So we grabbed that basket, and then I also found a basket that had a bunch of Star Wars fabric, which I had not seen any of the Star Wars fabric, so I'm sure it's older fabric. And again, a lot of this fabric is donated into the guild and that, which is wonderful. And so it gives us an opportunity to make some money for the nonprofit and things that we donate and support and work with. But anyways, I grabbed that one because my nephew-in-law is really huge into Star Wars. And so it gives me an opportunity to make something for him in Star Wars fabric in that. So I did grab 2 baskets today. Ended up grabbing a table runner and another, not kind of like a placemat, but it's more like a placemat, but it was a single. So I'm going to say it's, I'll use it as a small table runner, but it's more the size of a placemat that'll probably fit on my cocktail table. So I'll have all that to show for you all later this week. But yes, I ended up spending a little bit more money than I had planned to, but you know, life is short and you got to do what you got to do. With that said, John did enter 3 quilt items into the show this year. I have never been in a quilt show. I've never been brave enough to do an entry. I will say it's folks like you that are on the channel, and it's folks like Sean and others that just encourage us to do so much of the right thing. And so I was excited to actually get in the show this year. So I did participate with that. Let's jump over. Hey, Katie, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Always fun to see Katie on. Katie goes, not a drop of snow there. Right in Greenland, right? You would think you all would be getting snow all over the place. Pat goes, you should do a retreat to Greenland. Wouldn't that be fun? I really would like to do a little bit more traveling. We do have our retreat coming up in May. We have decided that we're only going to do 2 retreats a year at the moment. And so we are doing Memorial Day weekend. This year we've got Ray Steves from 3 Dudes Quilting coming out to do a couple of projects. And then we'll continue to do our New Year's Eve retreat. New Year's Eve will be our placeholder, will be the one that we springboard everything off of. And we had such a great crowd this last time around. So both of those are active and on the guyscrafttoo.com website if you're interested at all. Katrina says, I need to pick out a few 6.5-inch squares for a quilt for a friend whose dear husband passed. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Hey, Nikki, she says, hi, John. Sorry I'm late. No, you're never late. You're always on time when you get here. We appreciate you joining and being part of the YouTube family. Pat goes, how did your quilt do? I am going to show you in just one second. Balloon says she ratted me out for the New York retreat. Oh, not yet. Hey, Carl, welcome in. Thanks for being here. And I think Carl was at QuiltCon, so he must be back home and all settled and ready to go again. Carl goes, I'm coloring my hair right now. And we know it's lime green when he colors his hair, right? Hey, Happy Sola, thanks for being on this afternoon. Katie says it's the driest winter season we've seen, John. It's just crazy because it has been crazy over here. So, anyways, without further delay, I ended up putting 3 items in the quilt show this year. I did put the patriotic quilt that we did that was stripes and sparkle and stripes, which is a Villa Rosa pattern, and it's the one that looks kind of like a flag. And then I put gold stars all over mine in applique, and I cut those out. Actually, I cut the entire quilt out of AccuQuilt. And so was pretty excited about that. My partner thinks it's one of the best quilts I've ever done. So that was in the show. We got nothing for that, but it was fun just to see my quilt hanging in a show, right? Because I had never, like I said, never been in a show. So it was exciting and fun to have that hanging and being able to walk by and see it. So that was fun. Then we entered 2 others. One was Santa's Workshop, and the other was a Winter Wonderland train. Both of those are machine embroidery. I think both of those files came from EMB Library. The Santa's Workshop are panels that you stitch out and then you sew all of them together and put a frame in that around those. I got an honorable mention for that. So pretty excited that I got my first ribbon and got an honorable mention for that. What was really cool is we have nice ribbons, right, that are hanging on our quilts and that. And then one of the other members of the guild actually printed and made what says Palo Verde Patchers 2026 Quilt Show, machine embroidery, and gave us miniature ribbons that we were able to wear during the show so folks knew that we were award winners. So yellow for us are honorable mentions. And so I got an honorable mention for my Santa Workshop. I really did appreciate and love the way it turned out. And my Wonderland train also got an honorable mention. So for my first quilt show to have put 3 items in, I got 2 out of 3 recognized and ribboned. So hopefully next week you'll see a couple of ribbons hanging behind me. I don't know that I'll ever be able to catch up with someone like Ian, but it's exciting, right? It's my first 2 ribbons. I've got 2 yellow ribbons out of that show, and can't wait to pick the items up tonight. So after the live tonight, I will have to run over back to our rec center, and they will have the items ready for us to pick up because the show just finished at 4 o'clock when we went live. So they're over there now working to take all of that stuff down, get it all bagged up and sorted so we can go over and pick those up a little bit later this evening. So I am excited to get those because obviously I've not got to see any of the judges' comments and would really like to see what the judges had to say. All that to say that the Arizona Quilt Guild is having their annual show. It has moved from Mesa Convention Center out to the Martin Auto Museum in Glendale. That show's coming up later in March, and I did enter 2 items in that show. And I believe the 2 that I entered in that show I know is the patriotic quilt, because interesting enough, Stars and Stripes is the theme for that show. So it ended up being perfect that I had the patriotic quilt, and so I've got that one entered. And then I'm entering, I believe, the Winter Wonderland train is the other one that I entered. So I'll be anxious to see how it does in that show compared to how I did in this local show, because that show is more statewide. So it will be definitely interesting, but I have definitely dipped my toe in the water and getting myself out there. So I couldn't be happier. All the ladies were so nice to congratulate me in that. Miss Mona will have hers to tell at some point, but she won a couple of really super nice ribbons. And interesting enough, the quilt that she won with is the quilt that she worked on during our New Year's Eve retreat. So that just made it even more special to us that we got to see her work on that quilt, and that it was a beautiful piece of work, and see that she won and got recognized for it from the Tucson Quilt Guild made it even more special for us. So it was pretty awesome. Let's see who else. Sewing. Hey, Sewing Wolf, thanks for being here. Sewing Wolf says, waiting on a blizzard in Connecticut. I tell you what, Guys, the East Coast have just been hit so crazy, right? Carl says it's cooling down down in Florida. No QuiltCon for me. Sorry, Carl. For some reason, I thought you went. I think next year QuiltCon is in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully, after it goes to Atlanta next year, which would be what, 27, maybe 28, I'll be back in Phoenix. But I really would like to get to an East Coast QuiltCon and get to meet folks like Zaza was in the United States, and how did I miss getting to see Zaza? So I hope to be able to maybe make an East Coast QuiltCon next year, but we'll see. And that's another reason we had planned to do a few more retreats, but we decided to cut back. We still need to build our following. We still need to build our reputation, image, a lot of things around our retreats and that. Right now we're hoping to maximize the retreat center that we're using with 12. And, for New Year's Eve, we had 8 this past year. So, obviously we've got some room to grow in that, and that's fine. That's all part of the experience, right? But as we grow and get there, part of it is us just getting out there and being around and seeing what's happening. And even Danielle and I talked about the fact that it would be nice for us to be able to host something maybe a little bit more Midwest, and maybe us to do a retreat together. It definitely wouldn't be 26, could maybe be 27, may probably end up being more like 28. But partnering with someone like Danielle would just be amazing. All right, so who else? Carl says, nice, John. Brian says, yay, John, thank you. Thank you, guys. Hey, Danielle's here. Congrats on your living. So proud of you. Just talked about you. Look at you. So thanks for being on this afternoon. Oh, Pat says, I missed how you did. My phone died. I got 2 ribbons on my machine embroidery works, and they were both honorable mentions. So I could not be happier. So considering that I'm still trying to get it figured out, I couldn't. It's just awesome. Pat said, no QuiltCon for me. You need to come to Grand Rapids for AQS. And I years and years and years ago, 100 years ago, it feels like, one of the first companies I ever worked for was in Kentucky, and we had to run some machine parts and that, and we had to go up to, I think the name of the company was Auto Die back in the day. I don't remember, but it was a die casting facility, and Grand Rapids is where we had to go. And it's the first time I had ever been in Michigan or any part of it. And at the time, Grand Rapids seemed like a cool town to me, because later I ended up going to Detroit and other places, and I definitely would have liked Grand Rapids much better. Just not in the wintertime, sorry. But definitely would love to get up there in the summertime. Danielle said, I woke up this morning to the ground covered in snow, fully thawed and melted by lunch for it to be snowing again. Someone get Mother Nature some hormone pills, please, right? It's just crazy this year. It's just been snowing so crazily. So again, I am excited how the quilt show went. I couldn't be happier with that. I did manage to get some things done this week. I have 1, 2, 3 quilts cut and sitting over there that I have yet to start. I have the quilt for the ghost. I've got both of those panels done now. I do need to put the eyes and nose or mouth on them. I will hopefully get that done in the next week or so we can start doing, get those quilted and get those ready so I can have those to the grandkids. My plan is to send those to the grandkids in October as part of their Halloween. But then I saw a quilt literally sitting here, because I have most of my kits sitting right behind the camera, and went, oh my gosh, I've had this quilt sitting over here in a kit. I actually bought it from Villa Rosa. I probably bought it 2 years ago, but I just loved this fabric, and I got an amazing buy on it. Oh, here, I can show it right here. And so I really got an amazing buy on it. It's Free Spirit fabric. It is Game Day. Game Day is the name of the line. Anyways, and it came with the pattern Radiance. So I don't know what made me just stop everything else, look over, and so I grabbed that today and ironed. I got the fabric cut and ironed so I could work on it. But I thought, well, during the live, let me get some of the borders in that put together, and I will be able to work on that and concentrate on that piece of it. So just kind of crazy. Pat says, are you doing the Mystery 5.0? I am not. Interesting that you asked that question. I did look at it. I had debated it, and then I'll be honest, I'm not sure exactly what made me decide not to do it. But I decided that it was just not something I wanted to get into this year. So I did not sign up for it. Instead, and my partner was in here working on, oh, here it is. He's been in here working on trying to get me set up in that with my cameras, so things got rearranged a little bit. But I did decide. Pink Door sent me an email, and then they sent me one of those panicked emails going, wow, you haven't signed up yet, and if you don't hurry, all the slots are going to be gone, and you need to grab your space. And so I got, Joydy would be so shocked, I know, but I ended up getting, joining, this one is called Lakeshore Hosta. So I ended up signing up for their block of the month, basically, for Lakeshore Hosta. It is all Tula Pink fabrics. I have never done anything this challenging, this crazy. They claim that the way this is going to work, you'll have a YouTube to follow each month, some instruction in that. None of this is, I don't think, will be pre-cut. Actually, they had Tula that did a video on this and talked about how much she liked this design, using her fabrics and all that. This doesn't come out to June. I ended up grabbing this and deciding, maybe I'll do that one. And because maybe kind of like, how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time? I thought maybe that would help build some of that confidence up for me and help me get into something that is more complicated in that, but also allow me time to still do some of these simple quilts and that, and just build, build my skill, build my patience, all that kind of stuff, but then not knowing that when I get that, I don't have to knock it all out in 1 week, right? That I can just really enjoy the journey that's going to be together with others. So I did sign up and grab that one. So that is what I'm going to be working on come June. So we will see how that goes. Tanya said, I don't know, John squirreled before he even got started. I did. Isn't that awful? So we will get there. Pat says, you want to sew a Valor quilt top for our chapter. I can send you a kit. Would not cost you except to mail it back. Need it back by August. I can send it with your beans. Pat, we would absolutely love to do that and help support your chapter. So if you are willing to send that down to us, my address is on, I believe now. I should have emailed you, so you hopefully got it that way. But I also have it, I think, listed below or listed over on our YouTube channel. And I know for a fact it's on our guyscrafttoo website. But if not, just shoot me another email at john@guyscrafttoo.com and I will send it to you. But we would certainly, definitely support that endeavor. And if I didn't get it done in time, I can always have others that would help me get it done in time. But I would love to help support that process. All right, what else is going on? All right, so let me keep chatting away. So I'm excited. It's just so much going on. I hate how fast the year seems to be getting away from me, but it is what it is, guys. I mean, it's 10 months. We're going to be in Christmas. It was funny when I ordered the Lakeshore Hosta, right, and decided to join that and decided to do that block of the month and all of that. And that's not shipping to June. And I thought, that's a long time out. And I had to go put it in a folder because one of the things that I did decide for 2026 is when John does any pre-orders or anything in advance now, John prints it and John puts it in a folder because that way we don't double order stuff. So anyways, I did that, and when I opened it up, I saw 2 of the advent boxes, right? So I've got soft squares with Lynn, ordered her advent box, and Bella Rose ordered their advent box for 26. And I'm like, okay, and I'm not planning to do any more advent boxes, but someone did encourage me into soft squares last year, so we're not going to say who, but and I'm very, very happy they did, because I really did like the work and things that Lynn did. So I'm excited about that. I'm not planning to participate in any other advent boxes. I did not purchase Jenny's Countdown to Christmas with Missouri Star Quilt. And guys, it's not a knock on Jenny or anything there. A lot of content creators already do Jenny's box, and so I felt like it in a lot of ways was repetitious. I also felt like this is probably the best box that Jenny had put out in a long time. And so, again, it wasn't based on the price, quality, or anything else. I won't lie. I won't say that it wasn't based on the price. The price, I think, for what the value for you, what you get in her box is very strong. So I would never argue that her box is not a good value. But I just decided I wanted to diversify a little bit, and her box is just one that made sense to let go because so many others are already doing that box. And so that was my decision. It wasn't for any other reason in particular. Right, I'm trying to change threads over because I have been all black thread and bobbin, because that's what made sense to me for the Halloween quilt I was working on. But now this one's black, but I'm getting ready to put white sashing on, so I think it makes better sense that I go back to probably cool gray. I tend to use a lot from Glide. I tend to be a Glide guy. I think part of it is I just don't like any of the cotton threads. I know so many people like Aurifil. I think Aurifil is the only way to go. And I've actually had quilters and ladies tell me that if you're sewing cotton, piecing cotton fabric, you have to, I always like that, you have to piece with cotton thread. Yeah, you really don't have to. It's amazing how well the polyester threads and that work. So I don't use cotton thread when I do piecing. So, and it just seems to work for me, and it does help keep my machines cleaner. If you noticed, Hercules is now my go-to machine. Jake is sitting behind me. Interesting enough, I am working on some what I call library totes, because the local library over in Sun City has a craft group in every month, and they have asked me to come host and do a craft presentation for one of their upcoming weekends. So I think April is the month that I picked, and they're actually bringing in, I think, 8 sewing machines, which I can't wait to see what they bring in. But I am going over with my partner, and we are going to do show the ladies how to make library totes. So I think that'll be exciting and be different. And again, it's just about getting out, supporting the community, doing things. We're actually not only donating our time, but we're donating the materials and that. The library did say that they would pay for the materials and that for us to do it, but I would rather donate those and than worry about the cost for that, because I think, sometimes it's about getting back to our community and that, and I think there's so much going on. It's just special that we get to go over and be there and get to help out and show some folks what people are capable of doing. Let's see if we can run a thread of this. And did I buy the new Harry Potter embroidery machine from Bernina? Yes. So I have it on order, and I have decided that John wants to be spoiled, and John is going to do that as well. Oh, Pat says, I don't remember seeing it, but I will get it to you. No problem. Well, Pat says, oh no, you do need to do the Florida Advent box. I don't know what that is. So who What group does the Florida Advent Box? They haven't sent out a deposit yet, but they will soon. Now, I'm excited to go over and be with some of the ladies. And that, it's funny. So Sun City tends to be more, right, it's a retirement area, but the library obviously is open to the community. So they do have kind of a group that goes in, participates there. But how exciting to be able to go over and show folks, what skills we have, what we do, get to participate with them. I just think that will be awesome. So we're really excited about that. And, I think all of us need, right? There's an opportunity for all of us to do more volunteering in that. But it's also fun to be able to go teach your craft in something that you enjoy. And guys, by no stretch of the imagination, do I consider myself qualified to even do some of the things that I do? But you know what? I enjoy it, and I will have a good time. I will show you the library code that we're working on next week. It's on the other side of the room right now, and for me to maneuver around is crazy. We finally have two of the cameras working. And so now I have this main camera, and I can do zoom in when I need to if I want to show you things there. He did get this camera working today, so you can actually see what I am sewing and working on a little bit better. We had a really hard time with that because this camera did not like the light and the white reflection of the light down here. So it took us a while to get some of that adjusted. So hopefully that doesn't look too bad. But so we're working on that. And then what's next? We have a camera going over here on the cutting table. I hope to have that up and running in the next week or so. We actually have one going over in this area. So that'll be my Viking Epic 2, which we call Herbert. Will be is my go-to as far as my single needle. I really use him more for applique and that when I do that. The new Harry Potter machine will go there. I have no idea what we're going to call that machine. I doubt his name will be Harry, but his name will probably be more like HP, but we'll see. So that machine will go over there as well, but we'll have a camera that will allow me to work over there sometimes during lives, and then if I want to, so I'm not always just sitting here. And then I can adjust the camera over and have it on my long arm machine, and then I'll have one more camera that I can use on the 10 needle or over at my ironing station. So we're really working hard to make it so I can get up, move around the entire design studio, and give you all different looks about what's happening. All right. Let me go back and catch up with chat. Like I said, guys, it's taken me a little while to get used to all this new setup. There's so much there. Oh, Nikki says, I think I'm going to order Soft Squares Advent Box this year. Yeah, I ordered the 25 days of Christmas. I know she does a 12 days and a 25 days. I ended up jumping into the 25 days. She encourages you to order both because she doesn't duplicate in either box. I'm not going to spend that type of money, and especially with just one location. And again, I think Lynn did an amazing job, but I also liked my Bella Rose box really well. So I did split between the two, but I do think Lynn did a great job this past year and was appreciative. So I'm excited to see what she does this year and what's different and what she may repeat. This way. All right. What else? Danielle says, hey, John, just to tell you it first here, I'll be selling 12 days Advent box. Oh, look at you. So you go, girl. So Danielle is going to be selling Advent boxes this year. I think that is awesome. So definitely let me know. Let me know what the plans are and when you get those released. And we will definitely be looking at what's going happening there. That is awesome, Danielle. Pat says, cut up and sew. You can watch their video openings. This was their first year, and they did great. Even gave a $50 gift card in the end and hosted a party for box buyers in Florida, a refreshing box. Cool. So I'm assuming, Pat, that Cut Up and Sew is the name of the store. Just confirm that for me, because I would definitely like to. Yeah, I like supporting. I think that's one of the things I liked about getting away from Missouri Star Quilt. And again, guys, I have nothing against Missouri Star Quilt. I think they're an amazing organization. I love listening to Jenny Still. I love listening to the ladies there, and I've learned a lot from them. But I also like supporting some of the smaller channels, the smaller shops, and that's why I appreciate what Lynn does and doing what Soft Squares does. And again, Bella Rose is not near the size of the Missouri Star Quilt. So I do appreciate it. Pat, I do not have a scan and cut. I have a Cricut. So I never jumped over to the scan and cut world because I've been able to do whatever I needed to with my Cricut. Also, I cheat a little bit because my partner has a laser cutter. And so a lot of times he can do what I need to, what I want done on my laser cutter. Thanks, Brian. He says it looks good. Hogwarts. Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't had the chance to really think about it. And again, I've only seen the machine right by brochure. So I know what the machine, supposedly is going to look like based on the brochure, but that's as far as I've gotten. See, I really like Sedgwick. I really like the owl. There's something about that crazy owl that I definitely want to do. In fact, I just did download some embroidery files that I bought through another group that had Harry Potter in that, and the plan is to stitch those out like 8x8 and make a Harry Potter wall hanging. And then I found they were coming out with this. So we'll have several Harry Potter things coming up in the future for me. But I don't know, I've become a big Harry Potter geek. So. Oh, Brian and Danielle say Hagrid. I do. I tell you what, there is something just about Hagrid, right? Hey, Arlie, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. It says Gryffindor. Yeah, see, and I am a Hufflepuff is my house, according to them. Oh, Happy Soul Love says I ordered the software. Yeah, just Jody is the one that turned me on to them last year. I am really happy that she did. I think the box turned out really amazing. There was a couple of things in it where I went, but when you're trying to do 25 days and appeal to a mass audience, it's there was nothing in there that was negative for me. And I think that's the biggest thing. And of course, I loved Lynn. And then she played bingo, which I did not do well at. But and then if you got 2 bingos, you ended up giving away two televisions, right? 2 smart TVs with all the bells and whistles and that. To 2 lucky winners. Yeah, it's like I don't know. She just went above and beyond in a lot of ways. And I just love listening to her. I try to tune in as many Monday nights as I can. Monday nights tend to be difficult for me because Mondays is typically one of my days in office. I have to go to the office 3 days a week. And typically, I try to make that Monday, Wednesday, Thursday tends to be my days in office most often. And so by the time I get home Monday to make our dinner and do what I need to do, I don't always have time. It's not that I don't have time. I don't always remember to jump in and get on YouTube and watch Lynn. And that's when it's for sale. And so, I've already got my own Etsy store. I buy a lot of fabric by, wholesaling that on top of what I buy in retail and sell other places. So that part's not as, and then on top of it, it's like been crazy because there's been so much going on with just all the other stuff, right? Just trying to keep up with all the other channels and that. How cute this is going to be. So I think, guys, see, I can zoom in and show you all good, right? So let's try again. Look at John making technology work for himself. So look how cute that's going to be. I love this fabric. It is just, it almost reminds me of Legos. And it is just all over the place. So I think that's kind of cool. Guys, I hate to tell you, it's so warm here in Phoenix. I actually have the air conditioning running. I had to turn the air conditioning on this afternoon. So it just kicked on. I was just like, oh, got a cold breeze. So how crazy is that we're running the air conditioning already? All right, let's keep stitching and keep going. My gosh, guys, it's already quarter till. I have been going 45 minutes. What is going on? All right, let's see. Where's my mouse? Go back over here. All right. Danielle says, once I get it figured out, I'll announce it on my channel and giving all the details. Should be getting announced around her birthday on April 10th. I have to mark that down, make sure I send Miss Danielle a happy birthday. Yeah, see, Pat's like me. She says, yes, it's the name of the show, and I like buying from smaller shops. I do too. I just, it's nothing wrong with the big shops, guys. I just went to 35th this week because I had to order parts and do some things there, and they take really good care of me. I do tend to shop the smaller shop out here, which, is one of, they have 3 shops, right? So I tend to go to that shop because it's the closest, and I love the store manager. That she's always taking good care of me, but so has the main store. But so Megan and no Pat, I want to look that up after the live today. Not that I need any encouragement or that I need yet another box. I will tell you, doing 3 last year and putting 3 videos out. Actually, I did 4 Advent boxes last year. Got to be a lot, but again, I do like supporting some of the smaller shops, and I do think that would be cool to do that. All right, let's go back down. See, look, Danielle. Nikki says she's excited to see, and Danielle says it's all going to be sewing related. Cool. Oh no, Nikki says, Brian, my sister is driving a snowplow right now. She works for Prince George County. How cool is that? No, Pat won the Spingo with soft squares. How awesome is that? Congrats, Pat. She says, my card started off as a lemon, so I threatened to burn it. Mine started as a lemon, stayed as a lemon, and never got any better. It was like, it's like, did she know every number that was on my card so she didn't draw them? I don't think I've got, you had to have 2 bingos. I don't even think I got the first bingo. I think I was one number, like in every direction of having a bingo. It was just so crazy. Yeah, Nikki goes, I think it looks like a Legos too. I do too. I don't know. It's just crazy. Oh my gosh. Deanna Jewel. Hey, Deanna. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here this Saturday. She says it's 22 here in Alaska. No, I would be dying. I am such a baby when it comes to cold weather. I really am, guys. Nikki says I did. She likes the plows and driving to low speed there. I guess I wouldn't like that drive. No, I can tell you I wouldn't like that drive. So, no, so crazy. Oh, let me zoom back out. Y'all don't need to be looking at me that close. Lord, have mercy. But yes, and talk about crazy. I will tell you, I literally get shaking because I get so cold in that. Cold weather just really does a number on me. It's just really crazy. My body, just the way my body reacts to the weather and that. Even my partner was really surprised. He goes, I just thought you were kind of exaggerating, but he said, when you get chilled, I mean, like I do, I get the shakes. It's just crazy. All right, let's see which way. I love this fabric sometimes where it's like you really have to research it to figure out which side is which, right? So is that the top or is that the bottom? So I guess the Olympics are over. That's hard to believe that the Olympics have now come and gone. We watched them for about the first week, and then I kind of got bored with it, to be honest. Especially when France took over the figure skating and we lost there. I just got such a bad taste in my mouth. It was like I just I don't know. It just seemed so crazy. So I don't know how others felt, but I ended up not watching a lot of the Olympics afterwards because it just seemed just such a turn off. And then, we had several get injured so badly, so it's like, oh. And I'll be honest, again, I'm not a big winter sports fan compared to the summer sports. And it's hard to believe that 2 years, the Summer Olympics are going to be back in the U.S. So that'll be cool. The year that I moved to South Carolina, was the year that they were finishing getting ready for the Olympics in Atlanta. So I got to deal with a lot of that, even though we were up in South Carolina, because of just folks traveling in and around and trying to get through the Atlanta airport. But never did make it down to the Olympics. And I think that would have been cool, but I tell you what, I just that size of crowd and that, and of course that's when we had the Olympic bombing, right? And so I don't know, I'm just learning that I don't like to be around big crowds and that so much anymore. And it's just kind of sad the way we've let things kind of take away from us over the years. See what else is going on. Guys, I meant to grab some cards today to do some patterns, but I forgot. So we will definitely do some giveaways next week. Maybe we'll grab a couple of different things. Maybe get a 5-yard, or not get a 3-yard quilt pattern as part of the giveaways next week. I do like doing the giveaways because I think that's fun, right? That's part of tuning into the channel. That's part of my love language, as they say, right? The kids didn't believe it until the TV showed up. Yeah, I bet at that point they believed you. Nikki said it only made it to 33 today in mid-Missouri. 20s tomorrow in Michigan and snowing all week. Can someone please send me the equator? It's awful. And again, right, so how crazy that Danielle's dealing with that type of weather and we're going to be in the 80s and almost 90s by the end of next week. It's just doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. Oh, Pacos, I love it. I don't know enough about hockey to enjoy it. I will say I am a big football fan. I do enjoy football. I do enjoy college football probably a little bit more than NFL, but I do like football, which to me, hockey is nothing but football on ice, but I've never been around anyone. Yeah, I grew up in the South, so we didn't have hockey growing up. And so I've never been around anyone that knew hockey well enough to be able to help me understand what's going on. I'm not the best sports fan, especially even football, but I do understand and I do know most of the rules and things around football. So I do enjoy watching that. But we'll see, right? We actually lost our hockey team. We had the Coyotes here in Phoenix, and I never actually even got to a game here, and then they lost the arena that they had, and so they had to move around for a couple of years, and then the NHL said if they didn't find a home by such and such date, they were going to do whatever, and so they ended up moving the franchise out to Salt Lake City. So that franchise is over in Salt Lake City now, and the only professional team that Phoenix does not have at the moment is NHL. And even the southern states now have hockey, right? So nothing more than was moved down and around that they had to get a hockey team. Well, Pecos, it was interesting that NHL players actually put in their contract that they had to have time off to be on the Olympic team. I think it's great. And I think it's nice that we finally have let some of the professional players play in the Olympics, right? Because for years, it was only for amateurs, which I get and I understand that. But, a lot of those players that end up going over to the professional side never had an opportunity for the Olympics prior to them becoming professionals, and so I don't know. It's I could sit here all day and argue with you for why one is better than the other, and I can see both sides of it. Barb Scott, hey, welcome in. Thanks for joining this afternoon. We always appreciate when new folks are dropping in. Echoes, one hockey player lost 2 front teeth. Ouch. Yes, definitely. Definitely a big ouch. Oh, Jackie says both of her kids played hockey here in Phoenix. I think that's cool. I know we have a big ice rink over in the Arrowhead, Peoria area. I've been by it because I go to the theater next door, which is the Arizona Broadway Theater. So I've seen it, but I've never been in it. And I've actually never been on ice skates. I know that just shocks all of you. But not that I wouldn't like to try it. Interesting enough, I can absolutely not roller skate. I am not coordinated for some reason when it comes to roller skating. I have never been able to figure out and get my balance. However, if you put me on roller blades, I can go all day and I can rollerblade without any issue and actually do pretty well. And in fact, for a while, that was part of my exercise routine was actually doing rollerblades. So it makes no sense to me why I can rollerblade, but I can't roller skate. But it is what it is. But, my generation, I'm the 80s, right? So we grew up at the roller rinks and that, and it was just funny. I never could get the hang of roller skating. Nikki says, I lived in Wisconsin for a bit. That was popular up there. I love hockey the most and bobsledding. Yeah, I do. I always have like the bobsledding part of it. Jackie says Lisa was the only girl on her team for a couple of years. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy. So it's hard to believe like now, yeah, right, the Olympics have come on. It's just so much is going on so fast this year. I keep thinking, oh, things are going to get better so much that like I've got a shower curtain laying over here that I need to get pressed out because my bathroom still is Valentine's. And I know you'll be shocked, it's Valentine gnomes. But I need to get it switched over for St. Patrick's Day. I did manage to get the rest of the house converted. And Valentine weekend, I actually did convert the outside. So I've got my St. Patrick's wreaths and all that hung up and all of that going on and happening, but I haven't had a chance to finish the rest of the house. I did finally today wash the Valentine's tablecloths and placemats and all that, put that away. So now I've got the St. Patrick's Day stuff out. And so the last thing I need to do is change out the shower curtain and get that done. But it's like these holidays, these, season happens so fast, right? I mean, we just got through January and I do a lot of winter stuff and that, but I put the Valentine's up early because it seems like if I don't, you don't get any time for Valentine's Day. Right now, I'm trying to get everything switched over to St. Patrick's Day, and right behind that is Easter. And then right behind Easter, we actually celebrate for Derby, which is the first Saturday in May. And then after Derby, we'll actually do more patriotic stuff for Memorial Day, July 4th, and kind of take the summer off from flipping the house and moving stuff around so much. So, hey, Tasha, welcome. Thanks for joining for the last few minutes. Always good to see you. Hey, Raven, thanks for being here this afternoon. Always appreciate you folks dropping in. So guys, we are at the top of the hour. I need to jump off this afternoon. I've got to get over to pick my quilts up from the quilt show and that. Partner is fixing bourbon chicken with rice for dinner tonight, so I'm excited for that. Always fun. And someone for my birthday, and I can't remember who gave it to me, gave me an apple spiced bourbon for my birthday. Gave me a fifth actually, and it was absolutely just amazing. And that's what we ended up putting in the bourbon chicken. So I think that's going to be perfect instead of putting in apple juice, because the recipe calls for bourbon or apple juice. And how do you make bourbon chicken and make it with apple juice? It's like, are you kidding me? But an apple spiced bourbon just seemed like the right thing to do. Tasha goes, I'm tired of thinking about all that decorating. I get you. I get you, girlfriend. I understand that completely. So, guys, thanks for being here. Please do those things that make the YouTube algorithm happy and do the thumbs up. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. Subscribers mean so much to us, and it just helps us know that we're doing the right thing. I hope everyone has an amazing week. Always enjoy our time together and look forward to it. And as always, until next time, happy crafting.